welcome to Duane's World. It's me, Duane the Booze and Blogger, coming at you for another podcast with my co-host yet again, Jennie Fredricks. I'm so glad she came back. We had so much fun the last time, and now we're just going to talk about something else. Hey, Jennie, how's it going?
Doing okay. Thanks for having me, Duane.
Oh, thanks for accepting. Not everybody wants to be on this. You're just an amazing human being.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because we talk about things that nobody wants to talk about, or,
the hard questions.
Stuff that people are scared. And there's a lot of topics right now that people are afraid to talk about. Most of them.
Oh, God.
It's really expanded. The things that are acceptable to talk about has really narrowed. And so people are scared to talk about things that you would used to think would be normal, mundane kind of things.
Well, exactly. And I just don't get it anymore. I just do not get it.
No, hate it. I hate it. I'm known for hating it.
We're going to talk about cancel culture because I know this is your favorite topic. Mine as well, because I fucking hate it.
Yeah, favorite because I hate it. Yeah, it's my favorite to bitch about.
Yes.
And it's worse than ever.
Oh,
it's getting worse.
Like everything is getting canceled now.
Nobody stands a chance. Nobody stands a chance anymore. There's one acceptable opinion to have on everything.
Yep.
And if you don't have it, you're fucked.
Exactly. And that's bullshit.
Yes. So, and I've even had people telling me, like, maybe you should shut up about this. You'll get booked more. And I'm like, I don't want it. I don't need that to get booked more. I'll die if I hold it in. I'll die if I hold it in. I can't just act nice and act like nothing's happening. I just can't do it. Even if I further my career more by doing that, it just seems so wrong to me. Some of the things that are done. So
I think so too. And it's funny because I am on your side. I'm on this side because I think it's the right side. But and it affects my comedy. And Dave and I just did a podcast on the state of comedy now. And none of my comedy is offensive at all. There's some fucks in there, but I don't talk about anything on the edge, nothing. But it's my online presence because I, like you, have a hard time keeping my big mouth shut because...
Yeah, me too. My material is safe. People don't know that about me, though. People assume that I'm... either. Yeah, they assume I'm a big edgelord or something, but,
Yeah, you are not Anthony Jeselnik.
No, I'm not. I love him, though.
Yeah, I never liked him really until I watched his TV show and then went, oh my God, he is so funny. And then I went back and I watched all his stand-up.
Good ones.
Genius.
What was his one joke? My favorite joke. He says, my uncle runs a summer camp for kids who are about to get molested. It's just, I love him. I think he's great. He's got a persona, right? Like, he's kind of a good looking guy. So he does like the cool guy sort of a thing. And that's not normally the kind of comedy I like, but he's so dark and twisted that,
he's
he won me over.
And that's that's another thing Dave and I were talking about was our personas, because we have we go up on stage and we have a persona. It's an enhanced thing that's inside of us, but it's not who we are in real life. I don't go out calling people gay and queer and anything else. I don't. Well, okay, so sometimes I'll call somebody a retard, but I don't.
I still say all those things, but I don't call retarded people retarded.
No, but I don't call
actually developmentally. And when I say gay, I'm never talking about homosexual either. I've kind of rebranded.
It's so gay,
right? Yeah, you're being gay right now with that. Stop doing that. It's gay.
Bill Burr's joke where he fell down and the guy went to help him up and he says, "Get off me, you gay! What are you, gay?" But that's it. We don't. Like I've told you before, my favorite place to perform comedy is a gay club. So there's no way that I'm anti-gay or anything. What was the first canceled person that you can think of?
Well, okay. Well, I just started comedy not that long ago, right? So my first experience of it was Kevin Hart. When the Kevin Hart thing happened, when they wouldn't let him host the Oscars,
Right.
that was insane to me. I was like, okay, but like this joke was in 2009 and he's apologized, and they were just so adamant like that doesn't matter. Apologies, don't make things go away, and he's bad forever. And then he apologized again. He apologized 100 times, and every time they were just like, no, he doesn't mean it. I don't believe he means it. I don't think he's really sorry. And that was also my introduction to the intersectional stacking order, where, because Ellen forgave him. He went on the Ellen show.
Okay.
And it was like, well, Ellen doesn't speak for us because she's too rich. And they basically competing, like he's black and she's gay, and which one comes first or matters more. I was like, this is insane to me. Like, why don't you just listen to the words that they're saying instead? Like the whole identity politics thing came into it. And it was like, it's all about identity until a gay person says, I actually think we should forgive him, and then fuck them. It doesn't matter that they're gay anymore, right? Like, so it's very complicated.
I find that whole group of people, the LGBTQ, RSPZ, whatever. I don't even know now. They keep adding letters. I find that group has splinter groups of crazies and splinter group of people that are normal that just went, so what? He said a joke. If you want to me, the whole thing, gay pride, all that other crap, and it's not literally crap, it's all the stuff that they want. They want inclusion. That's the one thing they want. And I'm sorry, but if you're getting mocked by a headlining dude who sells out 20,000 seat arenas, and
it's more inclusive than that. Yeah, it's not inclusive to walk on eggshells and to treat people with kid gloves. It's inclusive to treat everyone the same.
The movie producer there who started the Me Too movement, okay, he needed to go.
Weinstein, yes, of course. Yes. Everybody agrees on that. Everybody agrees on that. That's not the cancel culture we're talking about.
No, but
he needed to go to prison, right? He had a
jail. He didn't need to be canceled. He needed to go to jail because of what he did.
Yeah, but R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. These are not products of cancel culture. These are people that did horrible crimes.
They did commit horrible crimes. And that's another thing when they start talking about canceling people out. And they start talking about sexual assaults or whatever, and they're calling it's rape. They're automatically say it's rape. Okay. To me, rape is insertion or something similar. To me, isn't Louis C.K. pulling out his dick and jerking off. That's not rape.
And asking first. He always asks first. Okay. So, and people were just telling me, they're like, it doesn't matter that he asked. It doesn't, like, they just want blind allegiance, right? Are you for women? Are you against rape? Or are you for Louis C.K.? I'm like, I'm against rape. I'm not going to call everything rape though. Like they really bleed all the meaning out of words. Right?
I asked my wife that, and she said the same thing. It's like, we're in a time, it was really bad a couple of years ago, even worse, like just the whole that sex culture thing. It was like every woman gets sexually harassed how many times a day or whatever. And I asked my wife, who works in a male dominated world.
Yeah, no,
and it's like, how often do you get sexually harassed? She says, rarely ever. Like,
it's not constant hell to be a woman. That's what they want us to believe, right? That
I know,
that every day it's just this constant. And they made up mansplaining and manspreading and all these little ways that they feel condescended to. I don't feel condescended to by men. I speak with men and we have conversations as equals. I don't want to feel like a victim. I don't know why they want me to feel like a victim.
Neither do I.
I think that if you go to Louis C.K.'s hotel room at 3 a.m. and he asks you if he can jerk off and you stay and watch him jerk off, that is not the worst thing that can happen to a woman who go. And I'm not trying to victim blame and say they shouldn't have gone to the hotel. I think that, well, they should have left. They definitely should have left. He wasn't blocking the door. They were free to leave. And I'm not saying is it their fault? Well, yeah, if you say yes and you stay, and it's going to fuck you up forever. First of all, I don't understand that, how you're fucked up, traumatized forever by this, right?
Yeah, because, they never got a dick pic in the mail.
What's that?
They never got a dick pic in their email or something.
Oh, yeah, of course we all have. And yeah, so it's a lot of hyperbole. It's a lot of, and that's the thing. And there's no forgiveness, right? I thought Louis C.K. gave a beautiful apology, but they see that apology and they go, see, he admitted it. And that's all they take from it. So there's no point in apologizing.
See, that's the thing too. It's like the girl at the girl when he was on whose TV show he was writing for. She said that Chris Rock show. He wanted her to come back to the office and watch him jerk off. And she said, no, nothing happened to her. She said, no.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I think it wasn't that. It was he was making a sitcom, right? And he wasn't famous yet. None of this stuff happened when he was a household name. This is all from 2002, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
He was doing well in comedy, but he was not famous, right? So, but yeah, no, the one that said no to him, it was like his TV wife on the show, and he went up to her, was like, hey, do you want to come into my office and watch me jerk off? And she was like, no, how dare you, kind of a thing, which is fine. That's her right. She can be a little bit horrified by that. But his reaction was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm a little fucked up. I don't know what's wrong with me. And he ran away. And I was like, I feel sorry for this man. I'm not supposed to feel sorry for this man, but he doesn't sound like a tyrant. Like, you have to look at my dick. That's not what it sounds like. It sounds like he's got a fetish. It sounds like he's kind of ashamed of it. And I don't know. I just felt sorry for him that, because, what more can you do than ask? Right? Like,
well, that's the thing. They're all saying, get permission. He got permission.
But now they're saying his permission doesn't count because he's so powerful. I'm like, A, he wasn't powerful at the time. And B, what powerful men should never try to get laid by anyone? Like,
and I'm also thinking that even if he wasn't powerful, I think they thought in the back of their skulls, and I shouldn't be speaking like this, but I think they thought, okay, we got him. He's going to get us spots. It didn't happen. They came out later on with this story, and it's like,
yeah, they waited till he was famous to bring him down. And like I said, there's got to be a statute of limitations on things. Like, it was like 14, 15 years after the fact.
Yeah, actually, I thought it was like 19, but still, there's got to be a statute of limitations on stupidity.
Yeah, and he apologized. They even said that, like, after the incident, he reached out to them a couple times. I'm really sorry. I was kind of fucked up back then. I don't know what was happening. I know I made you feel uncomfortable. I'm really sorry about it. I was like, I just think that you guys want to be mad. You want to hate him. You want a face of toxic masculinity. And he's it.
There are more toxic people than Louis.
Of course, if it was Weinstein where he was like threatening them, or you'll never work in this town again, or any of this kind of shit, I would not be on his side. People say I'm biased because I love Louis, but if he was actually raping people, I wouldn't allow. I wouldn't make exceptions. If he was doing anything that I thought was really wrong, I would still say that was wrong. I'm not going to give him a pass because I like him as a comedian, but it was so blown out of proportion, and I got called every name in the book by saying, like, okay, let's just settle down. This doesn't sound like pure evil to me. They called me a rape apologist.
Oh, I know. I've been with you you and I have been friends for years, and it's like, and I always, because I know specifically through the Louis thing, you used to have to like halt me like a guard dog, because I would come and say, what the fuck, and it's like, Duane, don't. Yeah, and it's like, because
I'd be like, I got this, and it yeah, they're very unreasonable. They think that nuance or forgiving it or really looking at things on a case by case, it's just zero tolerance for any of it, right? Like they're like, if you allow one of these things to be okay, then you're just allowing every man in the world to do whatever he wants whenever he wants. And that's not how things work. That's not how it's like. I think that, okay, sexual harassment is bad and rape is bad. Rape is much worse, right? Than,
yes,
a colleague trying to give you a back massage at the water cooler. Okay, it's creepy, whatever, but rape is so much worse. But I think that they're saying that they want to take away degree. They want to take away matters of degree and just say it's all bad. It's all bad, and we will forgive none of it. And I'm like, well, that's not how life is. That's not how things work. You can't ignore whether something was a little bit wrong or a lot wrong and just throw people away forever. They want them gone forever. I don't care what happens to this person now, he's out.
They have multiple degrees of murder for that reason. And sexual assault turning to rape and stuff. That's why there is an escalation of, it's sexual harassment. Then it becomes rape 1, rape 2, whatever. And
these things are important.
They are important. It is important. I get tired of hearing the word rape, and then they go, "Oh, he touched he slapped her in the ass," and it's like he was a jackass and a scumbag. But she wasn't assaulted. She was assaulted, but she was,
Yeah, and that's what they're calling they were saying with Louis C.K. that it was sexual assault. I was like, I can see harassment or misconduct or something, but they're calling it sexual assault. I was like, I'm old-fashioned. I need some physical contact in my sexual assaults. Or it's not a sexual assault. It's not. He didn't touch her. You can't say it's an assault. You can't say it's an assault. Assault means violence, and I don't mean word violence. I mean contact. There has to be some kind of contact. At first, I thought that he had blocked the door. That turned out not to be true. I didn't know he asked. That turned out not to be true. And I got to the point I was like, so what is the crime here? And they don't know. They don't really know. They're just like, he's bad. He's bad, and we're not going to let this continue.
And the other one was the lady on the phone. And it's like, if you thought he was jerking off on the other side of the phone, there's an end call button on your fucking phone. And if it's an old rotary style, you hang it up. You just say goodbye. You don't even got to say goodbye.
That's what Chappelle got in so much trouble for. That's what he said, a brittle spirit, right? Because that was the girl on the phone saying after this experience, after this phone call, it ruined all her dreams of doing comedy, and she gave it up. And he was like, well, then that's not much of a dream that you had.
No.
And it's not illegal to jerk off on the phone to somebody.
No, I could be doing it right now. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I tell people. I'm like, how do you know I'm not jerking off right now? Like, if you hear it, if you think that's what happened, you'd be like, okay, maybe we'll talk another time, and you'd get off the phone. It's not like you're chained. Yeah, there's some personal responsibility. There is.
Like we all have the opportunity. We all have the opportunity to hang the fucking phone up.
Of course.
Turn the channel. Don't watch it.
Well, that's the thing. What's the point of these safe spaces if they're going to watch the Chappelle special and they know that they're going to hate it? What's the point of having safe spaces if they're going to they want to make every space a safe space.
Yeah.
Right? So they have their safe spaces for comedy, and that's fine. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to watch the stuff that upsets them and try and stop it. And that's not a very good deal. That's not a very good deal. Then, why do you have your safe spaces if you're not going to stay in them, if that's where you're comfortable?
I dropped a video.
It's silly.
I dropped a blog the other day, and some guy called me a dick. And it's like, normally I'm nice about it. And it's like, you know what? Thank you for watching and your support, blah, blah, blah. And then he really called me a dick. But it's like, dude, if you don't like me, why are you watching my fucking videos? Don't watch them.
so much hate watching, and there was an incident here last summer with one comedian that a lot of people don't like. They find his material problematic. That's fine, but he put on that show at the park, and it was because it was during COVID, right? So there were no other shows, and it was a really good show. But instead of just not doing his show, right, they had to release this thing saying anybody who performs at that show, I will not book you ever again. Anybody, like guilt by association, anybody that does this guy's show, talks to this guy's show, defends him in any way, I will, because, well, at the time they said he was racist, and you know how loosely that can be. But they were like, if you're against racism, you cannot talk to this guy. And if you talk to this guy, you're racist and we're not going to have you here. And it is tyrannical. It is tyrannical. It's like, if you don't enjoy his comedy or you don't want to be on his show and you don't want to book him, you can do all that. But that's not good enough. It's the trying to shut him down so nobody else can like it.
Well, and Dave and I talked about that too. We were talking about the guy that was booked at the Massey Hall, and then he got canceled at Massey Hall.
Andrew Schultz.
And then found a bigger fucking venue and sold it out for 3 days instead of 1. And it's like, because you don't have the right to tell me what I like. Why?
And that's the thing. This is profoundly unpopular. Most people don't want this. People want to watch the Chappelle special. They're tired of this watered down woke shit. Most people think that cancel culture has gone too far. Most people, didn't want Kevin Hart to have to step down from the Oscars. But that's the thing. It's not the market speaking. It's an elite few that have decided what's good for us and what's bad for us.
Exactly.
And people are miserable. Audiences are miserable.
It's like
nobody likes it. Nobody likes it, and we can't get rid of it.
I give the whole fuck you thing because I just don't believe in any of it. It's like, you know what? I'm an adult. And if this offends me, I know how to change the channel. And every single adult knows how to do. You have to be a super fucking retard not to be able to change the channel. And you know what? If you got the TV to turn on and found a channel with this on, then you are capable of changing the fucking channel. We don't need to hear your, yes, okay, go online and say it was, you didn't like it. It was awful in your mind, but it wasn't like.
But that's the thing. We're dealing with people who literally think that words are violence. That they literally think that when Dave Chappelle is saying whatever he's saying up there, it will cause death. It doesn't matter how many people like it and how few people dislike it. It has to be stopped by any means necessary. Zero tolerance. So it's very hard to deal with people like that, right? Because it is tyrannical. They're just 100%. It cannot. He can't talk like that anywhere ever. And they believe. When you believe that much that you are right and everybody else is wrong, that makes you a very dangerous person. Like when you believe that much that your opinion is the correct one despite what everybody else thinks.
Opinions are like assholes, right? Every single one. And
they are.
And the thing is that I've mentioned this before too. It's like you and I, we agree on a whole bunch of shit. But I mean, I've got comics that I like that you're not that fussy on, or you got comics that you like that I'm not fussy on. And it's like,
I don't want to know a bunch of people that are carbon copies of me. That's not very interesting.
No,
I want to know people that are like different stuff, do different stuff,
Like we got to get out of that too. The whole, you don't agree with me, you mustn't like me anymore, or I can't be your friend. And it's like, are you in fucking grade school? Like,
yeah, exactly. And I do it because, like I said, I have no self-preservation skills. I don't give a fuck if they're not going to book me on their shows. I do it, but I see that it's terrifying to stand up against these people and say, hey, wait, no, this guy's not a bad guy. This thing that he did that offended you, it doesn't mean that he's a racist, rapist, whatever it is, you know, like, and these people do need defending because, you know, it can really be over nothing, right? You know, and everybody liked him yesterday. He was a good guy yesterday. And it takes one of these people to say he's a bad guy. Nobody wants to defend him. It all becomes, why should I die on that hill? And it has real consequences. It has real consequences for the people that get canceled. And I see it as bullying. It is bullying.
That is it.
I have no tolerance for that. I can't watch that. I can't just sit there and watch that. And everybody else is like, we'll just keep our mouths shut and it'll blow over. And it's like, no, this person's going to be fucked up forever that nobody stood up for him. And he didn't deserve this. And now he's persona non grata at comedy clubs. It's not a small thing.
That's, you know what? That's the one thing I do like about Yuck Yucks is that they let a lot slide compared to a lot of other places.
They've got some balls. They did. They booked Louis, right? They booked Louis.
Exactly.
And despite everybody being like, oh, you don't care about the safety of women. We were all very safe there. Do you think he's going to do it again after 20 years and all this shit? Like, really? Like,
no, he's going to pay somebody to do it. He's going to pay somebody to come to his room.
I always say that with the shaming that he took, I'd be surprised if he ever got hard again, honestly. Like, seriously. Like, I'm pretty sure that he's not looking for trouble. I think he's deeply ashamed. Can you imagine this, this jerk off problem thing that he has, this fetish? When this all came out, his daughters were like 12 and 13 years old, going to grade 9. Can you imagine being a little girl going to school and everybody knows that your dad likes to jerk off in front of women? And not just that they're mad about it. He hates women and all this other stuff that they've tied to it. That would be hell. That would be hell on him and his kids. I don't know. I don't think I'd ever leave the house.
You said the magic word. He hates women. No, actually, women friggin' get him going. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't hate women.
I don't think that he hates women. I don't think that makes him misogynist. I think he's a bit of a pervert. And if you watch Louis' comedy, he was very open about the fact that he was a sad pervert, that he was imprisoned by his perverted thoughts.
Yeah,
that he doesn't want to be like
I've been watching him for years. I've watched every one of his specials.
Yeah.
I made it through most of the Louis TV show, which he got canceled, so I can't watch the rest of it. And I'm not paying Louis. I love Louis, but I'm not spending $50 a season to watch Louis TV show. No,
but what Louis did, he did a lot of good things for female comedians. He boosted them all. He would have them tour with him when he did get famous. He did a lot.
What's her face?
For female comedians.
Okay, this is going to sound awful, but
Tig
Tig
Notaro?
Yeah, I was going to say the lesbian, with the cancer. And it's like, but
she's a lesbian with cancer. Yeah.
And he supported her like crazy. And then all of a sudden, boom, gone.
Yeah, and it was this big hive mind thing that most people didn't agree with. Like I said, if it's scary to admit it in public that you're like, no, I don't actually think that this is proportionate or that this is okay or this is for the greater good of women. I don't think you're helping anything. I think you're being mean. But if you took a secret poll, most people don't buy this shit. My favorite it was right in the heat of Me Too, where Matt Damon tried to come in and say something reasonable. And he said, we have to make a distinction between, people that are raping somebody or guys, like Louis that, wanted to expose himself or whatever like that. And Minnie Driver came in and she was like, fuck you. You don't get to tell a woman that we're more or less traumatized by a rape versus just seeing a penis. And I was like, of course it's more traumatizing to be raped. Of course, but everybody's clapping like she just said a noble thing. And I'm like, that's insane. Ask any person that's been raped. Like, what if he had just shown you his dick? Would that have been better for you? Yeah, that would have been much better if I hadn't been raped. Like, It's ridiculous, but everybody clapped. And then Matt Damon's all like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to sit back and listen. And I'm going to be stepping away from this conversation because I know that I have no place in it. Like the beaten dog thing, right? That they do. It's always the same apology. I'm sorry. It's my time to listen.
Fuck being sorry. I said it. I own it. That's it. I don't agree with the being sorry. You know what? I'm sure, positively sure, I might get in trouble right now. But I bet you dollars to donuts. I don't remember ever saying the word, but I bet you dollars to donuts. I said it once in my life. The N word. I'm sure I said it once in my life.
There's a lot of
called a queer because they were a queer. Or, like, actually the only one I know.
Sometimes they're kids. What was it? That hockey player that they kicked off the team for bullying. He bullied, I don't know if it was a black guy or a disabled guy in grade 9. Okay, and he is at 26. They found out about the stuff that he'd written on the internet when he was 14 years old, and they kicked him off the team.
Yeah.
I was like, that's insane. That's insane.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yes, I remember that too. And it's like,
we can't be going after people for stuff that they did when they were
teenager. Kids. You're a teenager.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know your arse from your elbow when you're a teenager. Right. And like
adults, I could be wrong. I could say I'm sorry. I don't deserve to have, and then I could never do it again. That's all that's required of me. I don't need to self-flagellate for the rest of my life about it. And they say they always find fault in the apologies. They say that they would forgive if they believed he was like doing the work and, really trying and really changing.
What do you want him to do? Suck a dick?
Exactly. I've never once seen it be enough for them. I've never once seen them say, okay, this guy has earned his way back. It's never once happened. They say that it can. It's never once happened. If they're mad at you, they're mad at you forever.
Like, they're still, I'm finally glad that Kevin Hart has come out and said, you know what, dealt with it, fuck it. I'm not putting any more of my effort into this bullshit.
He really tried. He went on a 2-week apology tour.
He did.
Begging. And they were saying stuff. They were like, well, what about the trans people that are getting murdered or kicked out of their house? I was like, what the fuck do you want? He's a comedian. What could he possibly have to say about that? Why does he have to comment on that? Like, what do you want from him? It doesn't make any sense. He can apologize for his jokes and realize that, they were mean and he wish he hasn't said them. But and then Don Lemon was like, he just apologized for 3 weeks. And then Don Lemon was like, okay, why don't you join me and you can be the official ambassador of gay straight relationships and you can dedicate your career to homophobia. He was like, and Kevin Hart was like, do you know what? No, that's a step too far. That is not my life's plan. I've apologized. That's it. I'm not going to make this my full-time job. And they're all about it. Think of all the good that he could do as a black man for the homophobia problem and stuff. I'm like, well, then you're going to have to find another one. He's not the only guy. He's not the only guy in the world to do that. You've got all this pressure that he's going to be the one to fix everything.
What about Eddie Murphy? Eddie Murphy, and I watched Delirious about 9, maybe 12 months ago. And you know what? It still made me laugh giggle my motherfucking ass off. And that is what happened. It was funny. Yeah. It's funny today.
He has apologized a lot. They seem to be okay with him. I don't know. I don't know why.
Me either. But like I said, though, I think he could he could re-release Delirious tomorrow. And I bet you, sure, he might run through the Chappelle bullshit that Chappelle's getting. But I bet you it's not near as bad.
No, he's going to do another I think that he's going to do another special, and I don't think he's going to offend anyone. I think that he's going to mind his P's and Q's and try and make all the wokes happy.
But
I don't think that Eddie Murphy is going to go out there and tell them to go fuck themselves like Chappelle did. I wish, but I don't think he's going to. We'll see.
I'm just glad that Netflix stuck to their guns and went, you know what? Fuck you then. Go ahead, protest. I don't fucking care. Dave Chappelle just made us millions and millions and millions of fucking dollars.
No, thank God for them standing their ground. Thank God for that, because that's what it takes. That's what it takes. If everybody did that, this thing would be over tomorrow.
It would be.
It would be. It's only happening because we let it. It's only happening because we've said like, oh, okay, well, these people say it's doing harm and we don't want to do harm and stuff. And we go along with it. That's the only reason. And you know what? It's not just comedy. It's not just show business. That's another thing that when I talk about this, people say, oh, these are rich people problems. Oh, boo hoo hoo, Kevin Hart has a mansion. It's not just him. It's local comedy. It's other areas. It's scientists, it's teachers, it's journalists.
It's commercial people who do commercials. And I am so glad you just opened that door up because I've been, yes, because I remember was it the Expedia Travelocity dude that got caught for drunk driving?
Oh, I didn't know about that.
And everybody wants him to lose his job. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Is that not his free time? He's not an NFL player, so it's not against their rules or whatever. It's developing in.
He has consequences for that. He has a thing on his record. He probably has to go to court, maybe even jail. But that's not our business. You know, that's a separate world. What about the Jeopardy shit?
Oh my God! And you know what? She is the best one.
Well, they hate her now too, though, because she said something about vaccinations in the past or something.
But that's the thing.
I know that nobody will be pure enough. Nobody will, and that's the thing. And because before her, there was the guy that said something about somebody having nice tits on a podcast 10 years ago. He had to go, and it was like, this is ridiculous. Who cares? Who cares? What does that have to do with his job?
You elected a president who was grabbing girls by the pussy. You elected a prime minister who was in blackface or brownface, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He dressed up as an Arab. He did.
It looks like he lived in blackface for a few years. There are so many goddamn pictures.
Oh, I know.
Feel like all day, every day, he was wearing blackface for like 5 years of his life.
But he's like, but you guys, they voted him in, and it's like, are you fucking simple? Yeah, but he gets us. Does he really? Like, how come you haven't canceled? No. You canceled Louis C.K. because he jerked off in front of a woman. You canceled Dave Chappelle because he was on stage just talking, using words, no violence. Yeah. You canceled...
Giving opinions that a lot of people have, you know, that most people have. Most people don't know all these rules. You know, they don't, most people that are not in this place.
Using the whole you people thing. It's like, fuck off. There is no greater Canadian than Don Cherry. He loves Canada.
They called it a 10-minute anti-immigration racist rant. And I watched it and I was like, I didn't hear anything. And I rewinded it. It was like, you people. I was like, that was it? That was all you're mad about? That's a 10-minute rant? No, that's a blink and you'll miss it. And that was just like, we have no room for hate in our Canada. And I was like, you guys are mental. So nobody, and the Oscars doesn't even have a host anymore, I don't think.
No, they don't. They just have people presenting or some fucking thing.
Yeah, because nobody will pass the purity test.
Well, I love what's his name though. I hate him as a comic. The English dude,
John Cleese.
No, I hate him too. But
I didn't like Monty Python, but he stands up to them good.
And he does do that. And that is that's the only redeeming quality I find from him, because I've never found him funny in my entire life.
I never liked Monty Python, but I do enjoy his presence on Twitter.
No, what's his name? English guy, goatee, beard, whatever. He did the Oscars, or he did the Grammys, or
Ricky Gervais?
Yes, he's the same way. Like, I mean, he's the exact same way.
You don't like his comedy?
Huh? Oh no, I like his comedy.
Yeah, he's a fucking killer, dude.
but I don't like it as much as I like some other people's. But he is funny. But what I love about him is that he speaks up, and it's like, fuck you, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. No, the best one with John Cleese was, I saw it on Twitter. Somebody came up and they said, you know what, I really love Monty Python, but, you know, it's very painful for me and very traumatic when I watch some of those old episodes where there was, and this was in the late 60s, right, where somebody was doing blackface, and at the time it was anti-racist, right? It was making fun of this, but that doesn't matter. Context doesn't matter. Anyway, he's like, it's really painful. I love him, but it's really painful for me to look back and see these things where they were wearing blackface and doing all this stuff. And that's, of course, John Cleese's cue to grovel, right? But he didn't do that. He went, well, I expect you'll recover eventually. It's like, if we all fucking did that, this nightmare would be over. They haven't helped anybody. None of this has helped anybody. It's divided people further.
We need old people around. We need him. Like I said, never liked him funny wise, but I like what he stands for. Could you imagine what George Carlin would be like right now?
I want to dig up him and Patrice O'Neill because I believe they could save us. I do. Just those two. They would not put up with this shit at all. And George Carlin was very left, so all the lefties feel like he'd be on their side. But he also said political correctness was fascism disguised as manners. Okay, exactly. He was not into this angle that it was starting to take. This was in the 90s. It was starting to take that angle, and he called it, and he hated it. So if he was here, no, he would not be supporting all of their stupid shit.
No,
they like to imagine that he would.
We're missing out on so many good comics because they're dead.
I know.
It's just awful. Like
I know, but yeah,
I watched the Mark Norman special, and I guess so. He did it in 2020, and I never laughed. So I don't think I've laughed that hard in my life, or at least in the last 5 years. It's the funniest special I've seen in forever, and there were parts of it that I went, "Oh, he's going to get in trouble for that."
Oh yeah.
But he just went along, and there are people just eating it up, and I didn't realize.
Yes,
I mean, I've seen him on Roast Battle and stuff, and he was good. He was really good because he's not. Guy. It's not a suit, He's just a regular dude.
Natural.
Yeah,
regular dude.
But yeah, I watched his video and I went, "Oh my god, this guy is fucking hilarious." And there are things that I kind of went, "Oh, that's going to get you in trouble," and it hasn't.
Yeah. I don't know. Every once in a while, somebody gets away with something, and I'm like, "How did he do that? How did he do that? How nobody went after him just now?" They're selective. They're selective. They don't have the energy to go after everybody at full force all the time. Mark Norman, he's famous, but he's not household name famous. No. So if he was, he would be a bigger target, I guess. The way to build tolerance and to bring people together is for people to, like the Jeffersons and All in the Family, right? They roasted each other. They busted each other's balls. They had more in common than not. But now that's not what it is. It's not about finding out what we all have in common. It's about sectioning off.
It is. I watched All in the Family. I grew up on it because I am old. But I grew up on it. My kids love it, by the way. They think it's hilarious.
It's still hilarious.
And Sanford and Son as well. And you can't tell me Red Fox wasn't a fucking racist. He was it. Yeah, he was. I know black people can't be racist, but man, he had a problem with white people. But it was funny. All in the Family. But I remember the episode when
that's bullshit though. Black people can't be racist. Everybody can be racist.
Right they can. I believe they can too. But I remember the episode that, Archie Bunker was such a racist, and he was, this and that, but he still dealt with Jefferson. And he still dealt with when the Martin Luther King death and the riots and stuff. And that was such a sad, it was like
they handled it all perfectly. They handled it beautifully.
And that's All in the Family. They went and they just followed this. Even that.
And Archie Bunker changed and he evolved and he became more empathetic and stuff like that. Now we don't have time for that. We will kill him on day one for not saying the right thing. We don't have time to change his heart and educate him and persuade him. just fuck him. He's out of here. He's on the wrong side of history. So that's the thing. It's just putting people off. It's just driving us further apart. So, and the real cancelers, the ones that are heavy into it, will say cancel culture is a myth.
No, it's not.
Of course it's not. 70% of the population believe it's gone way too far. And when they say that to me, I flip a table. I'm like, don't you fucking gaslight me like that. I see it happening all around us every day. And it's always the strong left ideologues that believe that cancel culture is a good thing. It's always them that say that it's a myth. And nothing enrages me more because, don't tell me that black is white and white is black. Everybody can see it. It's undeniable. I
hate the right because the right are stupid, I think. But I think they're smart in this regard that they just don't give a fuck about that shit. And
the right is benefiting from all the moderates are going further right now because the left are just so goddamn unwelcoming that the right is like, okay, we can disagree about a few things, but they're crazy and nobody wants to deal with them.
Michael Jackson. I like his music.
Yeah.
Didn't like the person.
I still love Thriller. I'm still going to play Thriller every Halloween. And I believe he did it. I do believe that he did it. But I'm not going to throw away the 80s.
No.
And all the fun that I had watching him and all this kind of stuff. That's,
And that's the way I am.
If you personally, and if there are people that personally they can't watch him anymore because they can't separate it and whatever, that's fine. That's their choice. But, I'm not evil for not feeling that way.
I'm sorry, Billie Jean comes on. I'm still singing along. I don't give a fuck. I do like through this cancel culture how things change. Like I said, the guy at Massey Hall, the guy at or what's his name? I can't remember his name, and I've got a note here somewhere, but my desk is a fucking mess right now.
That guy's Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz,
guy is Andrew
but
Schultz.
Then there's the what's his name from Saturday Night Live, who got canceled because of a gay slur. What was the name? He got hired by Saturday Night Live and then fired like the next.
Oh, Shane Gillis.
Right.
Yeah.
So Shane Gillis has over 1 million views on his. He has over 1 million views on his special, and it's like I love him.
He's hilarious. But that's the thing. That's if it was that the public just didn't. If it was the public that all wanted this, if it was the public that all wanted him gone and couldn't forgive it, it would be one thing. I would hate it, but I would have to, but it's not. It's at least like 15% of the population that like this cancel culture shit, and everybody else is cowering and catering to them because they don't want to be called bigots. And that's what it is. It's 15% of the people that are controlling everything. They're controlling Jeopardy and the Oscars and even, the universities and the sciences. You're not allowed to say that men and women are different or all this kind of shit, right? Like it's trickled down to every aspect of everyday life.
You and I, we could probably run the Louis C.K. fan club. But
it's been 4 fucking years. I want him back. Charlie Sheen's still working. Charlie Sheen has put guns to women's heads. He's given people AIDS on purpose. He's still working. He's doing Super Bowl commercials. I can't see Louis. It's been 4 years. Come on.
I wish I could see Louis. I've never seen him, and he's one on my list.
I went and saw him for $30 because he went from selling out the AC Center, and he did Yucks here a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I even went on the radio to debate another woman and got called, a rape apologist and stuff. And
I want to see him. There are so many comedians I want to see. I've got people left to see. I've got Bill Burr. I want to see Louis C.K. I want to see.
I would love that.
I would love to see Chappelle live just because, even though I didn't like Chappelle up until a few years ago. And
you didn't like the show?
No, I'm not big on that, but it was the fact that he uses the N-word so much. It drove me crazy.
Yeah. I'm okay with it. The thing about Chappelle is he's got balls. He's
and
got balls. And the problem that we're having right now is all about cowardice.
right,
It's
and
all about
why I
cowardice.
love him so much now is that him and Bill Burr are.
Yeah, and Dave Chappelle practices what he preaches. He has walked away from $20 million and stayed out of the business for 20 years because he didn't want to play their game. So
Exactly.
he's not scared. He's
No,
not scared. He has shown us before that he is not scared. And if more people, that's the problem, is people saying, okay, this guy that they're going after, I know him. He's a nice guy. He made a mistake, but I'm not going to stick my neck out. I don't want to die on that hill. I'll just that's the problem. People need to die on the hill. People need to stick their necks out. People need to
I
say,
think
no,
if
this is
all
wrong.
your
What you're saying about this person is wrong.
if all your top tier comedians, and I mean all of them, you got Chappelle, you got Hart, you got Gabriel Iglesias, you got Bill Burr, you've got Danny Boy, you got all these fucking amazing comics, and I think they finally just say, you know what, fuck you, this is it. And
Yeah.
and nice guys, like I said, I went and saw Gabriel Iglesias live, and he's very tame because he wants a Disney contract, but that's fine. Yeah. But I say, you know what, Gabriel, put Bill Burr on a show with you. Put Chappelle on a show with you. Get these guys together. When I went to, I don't know if it was the last time I was at Just for Laughs in Montreal, or it was a couple of years before that, or whatever. But the dude, Mike, whatever, he got sued by the Quebec Human Rights Tribunal.
Mike Ward. He won, but by the skin of his teeth, he won, though. That was far too close.
The greatest thing that I've seen in comedy, I think, was that I was at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, and they threw up an impromptu concert to help him with his legal bills. And it was like everybody, Jeff Ross, Ralphie May, Jimmy.
Well, that's good. Because a lot of the local comedians were not on his side.
And
that broke my heart. That broke my heart. And even Jerry Seinfeld will say, this is crazy. Who's cleaner than Jerry Seinfeld, right? He won't even play colleges anymore because they'll say that's sexist, that's racist. Jerry Seinfeld doesn't even touch on that shit at all. So nobody's safe from this. People think that they can stay out of it because they're safe. They're not safe.
I want to know how Jim Jeffries does it. Jim Jeffries is never in the media eye, ever.
No.
He uses the word cunt more often than any person I know that I've ever seen. And
I like Australians. He was mean to my Jordan Peterson, though. He was mean to, I'm obsessed with Jordan Peterson. The professor guy.
Oh, wait, yes, he had him on the Jim Jeffries show.
He had him on his show, and he edited it
to make it look bad,
to make him look crazy and to look bad. So I'm still mad at Jim Jeffries about that. That's why Jordan Peterson will not do edited content at all. He's like, if you want an interview with me, you're going to play all 5 hours of it. You're not going to edit it at all because, and he's right to do that because that people want to fuck with him and they want to make him look like shit.
Yes, I'm
a little mad at Jim Jeffries about that, but no, he's filthy. He's a filthy, dirty comedian.
And I love him for it.
I love him too. Everybody says Bill Burr is a misogynist. I never took it that way.
Bill Burr is just, to me, Bill Burr is just honest.
Yeah, he's honest, and I always saw him as like I don't know why I'm so angry. I'm turning into my dad. I'm such an idiot. Like he's very self-aware.
Did you watch F is for Family?
No, I didn't. I know that's his cartoon. I don't watch a lot of cartoons. I should though.
You should because it's like his life in this growing up in the 70s, and it's like, I'm gonna throw you through that fucking wall, and it's like but that was life in the 70s. Like, Bill Burr is they're nice too. Like my son,
he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
my son drew me a picture of the Bill Burr character in a chair in his recliner, and for a birthday, I think for Father's Day or for my birthday, one or the other, he drew me a card and he drew the F is for father because I love the show. And I sent it to Bill Burr through Twitter, and they said that it was amazing that my kid did such a good job. And I'm going, okay, so what makes you bad?
That's so lovely. No, he's a very level-headed. He's a very good guy, and he does stand up for what's right. If people want to take him wrong and think that he hates women or something, they're wrong. That's fine. Change the channel. That's not the impression I get at all. I feel like
I've sat there and I've watched like all his specials back to back to back to back to back to back, and I don't get tired of them.
No, he's very self-aware. He talks about his own toxic masculinity. He's like, I don't know why I'm acting like this right now. I hate it. Like in my brain, I can see that I'm being a jerk and I can't stop. So he's very self-aware. He's very honest. And yeah, that's what I want. That's the kind of comedians I want to hear from. I want to hear real shit. I want to hear, I don't want to hear, virtue signaling disguised as comedy. I don't want to hear that. That's not real to me.
That's another reason why I love like Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes kind of, you know what, fuck you. I'm just going to do my thing. And if you don't like it, and there aren't a lot of female comics that will go that route. And she's one of them.
It's very intimidating to go against the grain.
Like she called out Russell Peters.
Oh, yeah. And Meghan Markle too, I think.
Oh God, yeah. But just, I don't know. There's so many comics that I don't like anymore, just because they become so.
Stephen Colbert, he was hilarious. What the fuck has happened to him? He's just a hack now. Same with Sarah Silverman.
Trevor Noah's.
I loved Sarah Silverman. She's not funny anymore.
No, she's not. And wasn't she in?
They preach now.
That's all they do, and that's I used to watch Trevor Noah. He's getting better. He's getting a lot better actually. But
I heard that he said something about vaccines, about how he expressed some doubt about this new variant, whatever that they all want us to get vaccinated. He's like, yeah, but does that really seem logical? I was like, is Trevor Noah like speaking for himself and not towing the line? Or he was saying something that that he's not allowed to say as the super liberal Daily Show host or whatever. So I was like, thank God.
Getting better. I used to love his show, and then Trump took over and Black Lives Matter took over, and Trevor Noah became unfunny. He became just a spokesman for these groups.
Political hack.
And all of a sudden he's starting to slowly make it back where I can actually laugh at his show. Only the first 15 minutes of his show. His monologue is the only one that I like.
I hope so. I hope people start coming back to their senses, because this isn't funny and people don't like it. Chappelle is one of the most famous people in the world, and I'm a nobody. And Chappelle standing up against this stuff is great. It matters. It's really impactful. But I think the nobodies have to stand up too. I think that it's going to take a lot of people just standing up and saying no more of this.
Anyway, This has been me with Jennie Fredricks. We've killed the whole cancel culture thing, and I will have Jennie back. Hopefully, again, we'll find some other topic. Thanks for being here again.
Thanks for having me again, Duane.
Oh, great. Bye.